Hi, hello, and welcome to the 16th episode of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am happy that you are here with me. This is my show where we talk about knitting and life and stuff, mostly knitting. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good week. Today is Saturday, July 19th. I have been awake since 4:45 because I worked overtime today. Today was my first, or this week rather, was my first full week back at work after having pneumonia for most of June. And it's a doozy. I work in manufacturing and it is the end of our fiscal year. And so rather than working my standard 40 hours, I think I got 50. I think I did 50 hours this week. So it's been a little bit rough. My feet are not great, but you know, it's fine. We're doing things. More importantly, I am still crafting. That is the important part. So let's get into all of the crafting goodness. Go ahead, settle in, grab your snack, grab your craft. Let's get going. The first thing we do on this show is the pig parade. I do not have pigs today, but I do have some other small objects to show you. I did make a pig. But I did bring it to work to give to one of my coworkers because his birthday was on Thursday. And then he wasn't there on Thursday or Friday. So it's still sitting on his desk. And I'm like, I could have kept it at home to show on video and then given it to him Monday. But it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, I made these. I made not one, but two tiny little chili peppers out of yarns that I already made socks out of. So this was the Vesper Rainbow Revolution, and it's a self-striping yarn, and so I hold it double for this chili pepper, and so it's kind of like marled, and I kind of love it. I love the way that it looks. Yeah, so there's that one, and then this is my leftover of the Chemnitz Halloween 2024 yarn made into a chili pepper. So these will go onto my string. I left my string over there. I am still behind on my string, but I'm also not worried about it. I don't like knitting my chili peppers after work. I want to work on them on weekends, but I also don't want to work on them every weekend. So I work on them as I feel like doing it. But that is our short and sweet pig parade for the week. I've just been very tired and I'm being very gentle with myself as I re-enter going full blast. So I'm happy with my two little chili peppers and my one little pig, which is in the same yarn as this one, actually. So, and I forgot to get a picture of it. I should have taken a picture of it is what I should have done. And I remember thinking that I should do that, and then I didn't do it. Anyway, I do have one finished object this week, and that's these socks. These are stroll tweed socks for me. They are my standard pattern. I guess I don't follow an actual pattern. I just cast on 56 stitches. I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I do 30 rounds for the leg. I do a standard slip stitch heel, and then the gusset, and then just down the foot until however many rows I need. And then I do a square toe, so decreasing every other row. And then I Kitchener it off. And that's my socks. These are the contrast color is lavender and the main color is barley. And these are stroll tweed from Knit Picks. And I'm making a whole collection of these where I'm just kind of like the main color becomes the contrast color for the next pair, and so on, with a whole bunch of stroll tweed that I bought a hot second ago. So I will end up with a whole collection of them. So this is the next pair added into that pile. I also have two works in progress. The first one you have already seen. I showed it last week. I was here. Here's my sunflower. And now I'm here. I was worried that these are going to look like construction camo, and I feel like on the screen that's how they look because of the lighting. But they don't actually look like construction camo. They look really great. There's actually a lot of purple in this yarn. And they look just so perfectly fall. And I'm so thrilled with how they're turning out. This yarn is one of the oldest yarns in my stash. I think it's an elder yarn for sure for me. So I'm very excited to be working on these. And I'm hoping to have those done by the end of next week because I need to get them sent off. And those are in this bag, which is from Tiny Human Knits. And then yesterday, if you've watched this channel before, you know that on Fridays we cast on new socks. That is the routine. So yesterday I went ahead and got this bag out, which is usually socks for me, but I have broken that. This is a sock for someone else. And I cast on a sock. And I'm doing a pattern! I don't normally do patterns, but I'm really enjoying this. This is the, I think it's Veering Off Course by Jennifer Bolu, also known as Alindria Knits. It's either Veering Off Course or Veering Off Center, but I think it's Veering Off Course. And I love it so much. I did have to, like, I purl all of my rows. So I did have to, like, go through and, like, figure out, like, left-leaning and right-leaning decreases on, like, when you're inverting a pattern. And, like, write little notes for myself to be able to do the pattern, but it's fine. And I love the way that it looks. I love the little zigzags. This yarn, the contrast color is Stroll in the color Ash. The main color is, I think it's a Mystery Skein from Tiny Human Knits. I'm not sure. Or it might have been like a Factory Seconds from something. I don't remember. It's also an elder yarn for me. And it was not labeled with any sort of colorway. And I was just like, okay. It's 50 grams of something from Tiny Human Knits. Cool. But yes, I'm really enjoying this pattern. I am not following the pattern exactly. The pattern is for a shorty sock. And then the pattern actually starts once you're on the foot. And I really like my formula of like 30 rounds, the heel, and then the pattern. So I was like, this is cool. I'm just going to take the stitch pattern basically and ignore everything else. And then I'm going to make a pair of socks because I am a menace. And also I'm going to invert everything and do stockinette and purl. I'm going to do that. So I've kind of followed the pattern for this, but I am super obsessed with these. I cast these on, they're for a friend of mine. I'm doing an exchange where because I only ever want to knit socks, there are other things I want to own that are knit. I don't want to knit them. So the other day I was like being a little bit dramatic and I like went on Instagram and I had like, there were two patterns I saw and I was like, I want someone to knit me this and I will knit them socks in exchange. And my two best friends, one of them claimed the hat and the other one claimed the fingerless mittens. And they're both like spider themed. I will actually put pictures of the patterns up here. So I'm trading this pair of socks for Along Came a Spider hat, one of those. And I'm seeing my friend next Saturday. So originally I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can have these done by next Saturday. And then I remembered I'm working 10-hour days. So no, I'm not going to have these done by next Saturday. And that's okay. I am being gentle with myself and that's fine. And then the other pattern that I'm going to get is the Arachne mittens. And I will put that on the screen as well. I still need to like cast on the socks for that, but I don't know when I will actually see Mish because, you know, we're adults and we see each other like every 4 to 6 weeks maybe I see my best friends because you're in your 30s. So I'm not worried about when I'm going to get that done. I know that I'll get it done at some point. It might end up being Yule presents. I feel like I should ask her that. But anyway, yeah, I will get this pair done probably like in 2 weeks. That's my regularly scheduled timeline. It takes 2 weeks for a pair of socks. I have a pair done every week because I knit, like I cast on a pair every Friday, so I always have 2 pairs, but it takes 2 weeks for a pair of socks. So I'll have this done then. And then at some point I will get a little beret that looks like a spider's web and it will be super cool. But yes, those are my works in progress. I also want to follow up on not one but two things. One, a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I got a Knit Picks order and I was worried because there was a Reddit thread talking about carpet beetles that were like may or may not have been like there may or may not have been an infestation of carpet beetles at one of the Knit Picks warehouses. So I just want to follow up. I put my yarn in bags, and they've all been sitting on my floor. This ash color is from that new haul. It's the first one I've taken out of the bags. I don't see any evidence of carpet beetles there. I also did finally get an answer from Knit Picks, and they were like, yes, we did an investigation. We didn't find any carpet beetles in our facility. You know, if you received your yarn, you didn't see anything that looked weird, you're fine. And I was like, okay, cool. And then immediately was like, I'm still gonna let them sit for a couple weeks to make sure, like really sure. And I still have not seen anything. So it was probably nothing. I was probably just worried for no reason. The other thing I wanted to follow up on was from last week, where I was talking about how a lot of my scrap yarns are starting to pile up. And I wanted to show you one of the bags you have not seen on this channel. I've never showed it. This is my big old project bag that I don't need because I only knit socks. This is from the Woolen Thing. I love this bag. It is my very favorite pattern. I love the fall energy of it all. This bag, as you notice, is a little bit full. And what it's full of is yarns I have already used that I can still get a full sock set out of, like a full pair of socks. Like using a contrast color, of course. It's got a whole lot of things in here. This is a full 50 grams, by the way. This is maybe 2 pairs of socks. Just, there's a whole lot of things in here. And I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed about it. There's still like a little bit of space, but it's mostly full. And so last week I was saying, you know, I'm starting to feel a little bit anxious. I feel like I need to come up with a better system to keep using my scrap yarns. And so I was thinking about that after I talked about it. And I decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the way that I do my sock spinners for the moment. Because what I do now is I have a spinner for me, a spinner for, you know, everyone else. And I alternate using them. And within each one of those spinners, there's obviously multiple options. And usually it's like, you know, 3 or 4 new yarns, and then an option for scraps. And then sometimes there's an option just for like stripes. And I'm going to change it up. So there's only 3 options. So there's going to be stripes, there's going to be new yarn, and it's just going to say like new yarn. And then the third option is going to be scrap socks. So that there's a 1 in 3 chance that any pair of socks I make is going to come out of this bag and move on. Like, it'll get used, it'll be out of my life, out of my hair. Because it's getting overwhelming. I'm not concerned about the stripes because not all, but most of the stripes yarns I have, I would say probably 80 to 90% of them are 50 gram balls. So I can get 1 pair of socks out of that, and I will have some leftovers, and those will go into my blanket. The ones that are 100 grams, if I use that one, and I'm not going to limit myself to not use them, but if I use them, I will knit a pair of socks, and then those will go into the scrap bag to get used again for a second set, and then it will go into my stripes scraps. Because I'm eventually going to make, maybe not actually the jelly roll blanket, but something like the jelly roll blanket with just my self-striping yarns. Ideally what I want to do is I want to have a pattern that's a chevron, because I think that will look super cool. I don't want to have to draft that pattern myself, so I'm hoping somewhere on the internet there is already a like chevron jelly roll blanket pattern that I can find. I have not looked for it yet. I don't have enough scraps to start that yet. But that also means to have enough scraps to start that, because I do want to make that blanket, I need to work through my striped stash. And I did not bring the bin over here, but my stripe yarn bin is also really full. And I would like to work on that and get it a little bit more empty. I did bring over my new yarns that I want to work with soon. I did not bring all of them over. I think I left like 1 over there because it was like all bound up and it looks crazy. But I do want to show some of the yarns I've chosen from my stash, because I'm like really, really excited about them. Like, look at these things. Look at them all. I'm going to show them one by one, of course. Most of these are from Blue Barn Fiber. This is a Blue Barn Fiber. This is Cauldron Boil Me, and I definitely bought this last fall, and I've been waiting to use it ever since. I think I also got this last fall, or it might have been a Christmas present from the year before. I don't remember. This is Dead Man's Hand, also by Blue Barn Fiber. I'm obsessed. I can't wait. If you can't tell, I'm just feeling very Halloween-y. Like, I'm just summer weaning in life right now. Here's another one from my Elder stash. I know it's Blue Barn Fiber. I have no idea what this colorway is. I've had this as long as I've had the Autumn Leaves, so it's been a hot minute. This is my geriatric yarn. This one also very, very Halloween, very like pumpkin spice, pumpkin chai energy. And then I have this fun one, Blue Barn Fiber as well. This one is Mermaid Fingers. Blue Barn Fiber has a whole set of like mermaid colorways, and I have knit through about half of them at this point, and I love them all so much. And part of me, honestly, like the next time I buy yarn, the thing is, I don't want to buy 100 grams at a time because that's too much yarn, and that's how I end up with the scrap bag. I want to buy 50 grams at a time. But I also just want to have every single one of the mermaid colors because they're all so good. This is a similar colorway. This is not from Blue Barn Fiber. This is from Craftily Dyed Yarns. This is a 50 gram skein, and that makes me really happy. And whenever it is that I do buy yarn next, I think Craftily Dyed Yarn is going to be the first place I go to select what I'm going to buy because they have the 50 gram option. Also, it means that your yarn's way more affordable. This was like $13 compared to being $28 or like $29 or $31 or whatever. This is way more affordable. So I love that. This is the color Stellar. I have not knit up any of the Craftily Dyed Yarns yet, but I'm very excited to. I have this one, and then I have one other one. I just haven't selected it yet. Its time will come, but it's not today. And then one of the other colors I picked, also an Elder color. This is Knit Picks Hawthorn. This is the color Blueberry Speckle. And I think that it looks really, really cute. It's just white with speckles of purple and blue, or like indigo and blue, I should say. So I love it. I don't know if I want socks for me or socks for someone else in this, but I feel like that's how I feel about most of these new colors. Like I want socks in all of them, but I know like this one's gonna be socks for my brother and Sentence. like he's my brother's favorite color is hot pink. I've talked about my brother before on this channel, but just as a very fast recap, I have one brother. He's my older brother. He is a bar musician in Florida. He has Florida man energy. He loves vibrant neon colors. He has like really long hair, and he's kind of a hippie, and I adore him. And he is like one of the most knit-worthy people I know. Even though he lives in Florida, he wears hand knit wool socks year round, which is wild because I don't do that. If it's above 50 degrees, I'm not wearing hand knit socks. He wears them when it's like 98. He does not care. So I'm going to make him mermaid socks, and he's going to love them because he loves all of the vibrant and like ridiculous socks ever, which is just incredible. Yeah, so that's some of the new yarns I'm going to be using at some point. I am not currently separating out like socks for me, socks for not me. I'm kind of just like, it's going to pop up and say new yarn on one of the spinners, and then I'll think about like either which one of my friends has the next birthday on my calendar, or like who I want to knit for Yule, and I'll see what I have picked, and then I'll be like, this yarn fits this person, and go from there and figure that out. So yeah, that's it for yarny stuff. Let's talk about life for a couple minutes. I promise I will not keep you too long. I've been working so much and it's fine, but oh man, to go from like laying around on the couch all day knitting 2 pairs of socks a week to like working 10-hour days is really a choice I made in life. I already have a schedule where I'm supposed to work 9-hour days. And then I have every other Friday off. So I only have to add like half an hour to my day for it to be a 10-hour day because of that half-hour lunch. But it's wild to be at work for 10 hours straight. And I worked today because I got a couple hours of overtime. It's fine. I have started bringing my headphones to work, which is allowed. And I'm listening to Memories of Ice by Steven Erikson. It is a 43-hour long audiobook, and I've been trying to read it for 2.5 years. And when I checked when I got into work this morning, and I had 19 hours left. I have not checked since, and I can't check because I'm recording on my phone, and that's where my Libro.fm is. So there's that. But I only have 19 hours left, so we're doing great. Actually, I have less than that. I probably have like 17 hours. I did have to keep pausing it because people were talking to me about work, which is fine, but like it hurt my feelings just a little bit because things were happening. Like there is a war going on, and like crap is happening, and there's like people trapped inside of swords, and I was like, I want to know what is happening. And they were like, why do you have network switches? And I was like, what? So which is fine, but whatever. So that's happening. I read a book last weekend that my friend Tasha gave me. So for my birthday this year, my birthday was earlier this year, and I decided as birthday gifts, I asked all my friends to give me a copy of either their favorite book or a book they've read recently and really enjoyed, and to write an inscription in the front. And it was the best thing ever. 10 out of 10 recommend. I have a whole stack of books from my friends on my floor, and the one at the top of the list was from my friend Tasha, and it was My Sister the Serial Killer, and it was so good. I read the whole book in 24 hours. I could not put it down. So it takes place in Lagos, which is, I think, the capital of Nigeria. It's definitely in Africa. And the main character is this nurse who has a sister who's like definitely a narcissist. And the first chapter is her getting the call that her sister has accidentally killed her boyfriend. And so she goes over to like hide the body and like clean up the murder and everything. And then come to find out, this is the third boyfriend her sister has done this to. And then come to find out she always does it with the same knife. And the knife has a significance because it was their dad's knife, and their dad was kind of like an abusive butthead. And he used to like bring the knife out to threaten anyone who would come courting for the two sisters. And their dad has just kind of mysteriously left the picture. And you get to read all about like the codependence and the drama, and it was so good. It was just so good. That's all I'm going to say. It was, if you haven't read this book, you should read it. It's so juicy, so dramatic. We love it. We love when the drama is in the books and not in real life. So there's that. I am still reading Words of Radiance, but I'm kind of like picking at it really slowly because I'm mad that it takes so long to get through the book. I also tried to start another book. I tried to start A Master of Gin by P. Djeli Clark, who's one of my favorite authors. And I read 2 chapters and was like, my brain is tired and I'm not going to do that. And then I went to sleep at like 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, being really gentle with myself and just kind of putting reasonable limitations and like reasonable goals on myself, because I know that I'm going to continue working like long shifts through the end of the month, possibly beyond that, because overtime pay is not a bad thing. So I would rather make that bank than not make that bank right now. And part of making that bank is just kind of like realizing that I will not have that much brain space to read books, and I will definitely only be knitting like 1 pair of socks a week, possibly less than 1 pair of socks a week, and that is totally okay. So we're vibing, and we're finding the whimsy, and everything is good, and there are tiny chili peppers, and there are still pigs to knit. I do want to knit more pigs, but time is limited when I get home, so it is what it is. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. I hope you are having a fantastic week. I hope you are finding some whimsical things to do in your life. I hope your books are good. I hope your knitting's going well. And I will see you next time. Bye.